Hey, I'm Tim Rogers, and this is Mission Ascend. So I'm here to tell you the story about Keep It REET round one. We got a phone call from Romeo about probably a week and a half, 2 weeks out from the event, and he asked if I was driving. Called him, told him no, car's not ready, I didn't plan on driving it, and he said, Tim, you have to. You have to. So pulled my finger out, got my car together. It was not in the best condition pre-race, and we'll get into that shortly. So we've rocked up, got to the track, and we've got the car set up, pulled out onto the start line, and we've pulled up against none other than Mudgee. Gangster driver, wicked attitude, cool dude with a gangster RB20 powered Sylvia. So I was, first lap of the day, I'm like, if we don't nail a run now, we're just packing her up and taking her home. Went out there with Mudgee and threw down. It was sick. So after going out for our run with Mudgee, we had a few more practice runs, got in with Dave from AU House in Queensland who came down for the event. And last but not least, we happened to go out for a run with Mike. Mike Lake, right at the end of practice, had probably 20 minutes left in the session. Everybody was on at this point. We're driving hard, like bumpers are getting scraped on walls, fists are getting thrown out windows. It's sick. And I've rolled up next to Mike, and we've been wanting to drive together for a while. We've been back and forth on Instagram, you know, razzing each other up. And we've pulled up at the start line, bloody guns blazing, ready to go, down the front straight, absolutely hooked into the corner, thrown it, and on the transition, I sort of messed up the transition, fell back a little bit. So then we had the touch and go, where I'm just trying to make up ground. So I'm coming hot off the straight, Mike's come in mass angle, wide as, I've come in just with this huge flick to angle. We're coming in hot together, and I've looked at the trajectory of both of us, and I'm thinking, I'm going very fast. He's not going as fast as I am, and that wall's real close. And as that point's happen, all you can hear is just bang, clunk, crunch. So I've nailed Mike into the wall. I can't say I was fully to blame, but I was definitely partly involved, that's for sure. I think it's just one of those racing incidents that happens. We're all just going ham. We all want the championship. It's round one, coming off the Chrissy break. We're all just going hard. So I've come to a stop on the side of the track, checked on my passenger, everything was okay. And I've just jumped out of the car and just ran for Mike. I was at the point that if his car hadn't gone on track, that again, I wouldn't have been sleeping that night sort of situation. Because I knew my car was fine, I drove away. I just had to fix the rear quarter. So I've gone running up to Mike Lake, you know, we've hugged it out, given a big wave to the crowd, everyone's cheering us on because we've, you know, two good blokes having a good handshake after a big crash. It was good. It's good to see in the sport. Needs to be more of it. So after that absolutely hectic crash with Mike Lake, we've driven our car back into pits. Mike's got a tow in. I've assessed the damage on my car and started the repair work. And at that point, the tow truck's come in with Mike on the back, and I'm feeling pretty bad at this point. Like, feeling pretty bad. Got his car off the back. We've started assessing the damage. I think he had a bent rear arm and a few other damaged parts. So I had to fix my car. He had to fix his, but he came asking for a tool. So I walked over with my tool bag and just threw it down for him. You know, in the spirit of things, we all got our cars back on track. In the process of fixing the car, we had to do some questionable things, you know, being at the track without all the necessary equipment. So we had my big blue soft hammer bashing the side of the car. We had the jack handle being rolled in to roll the guards back out. And at one point, we even had the X5 hooked up with a ratchet strap pulling the whole side of the car back out. Well, by the end of that stage, practice had finished, and now we're into qualifying. And this is where it gets wild. Practice is finished now, done. And then we've had the Keep It REET guys come down and they've said it's time. It's time to qualify. So I've done my motions, you know, I've got myself ready, psyched out, sitting in the car, drove to the start grid. I'm waiting, the nerves are rising. This is qualifying number one. I'm just coming off the wall, nerves, full nerves. I'm sitting there on the start line, I'm like, right, I just got to do an 80% run, get a good score on the board, and then we're ready to send. So I've come in, first corner, threw it in, and I was a little bit off, and I've had to double, triple clutch it, get it back online. Big transition in the next corner, on point, on line, touch and go, straight out wide onto the wall, and we just let her eat. Got to the end of the wall, and we started to run out of wheel speed a little bit, so we start to pull away, which I think may have cost us some points. But at that stage, I think I was probably the 20th car to qualify and threw down a gangster run. So it was all well, and I'm looking good, I'm feeling good. That's it, that's qualifying run done. Nerves are starting to rise again as we roll around for qualifying lap number 2, and this is where shit gets wild. Sitting on the front straight, I'm all G'd up, I'm ready to go. First, second, third, bonnet, buzz, straight over the windscreen. Scared the date out of me. Whoa! Crazy. And I'm in that moment I've gone, I haven't initiated yet, I can stop and turn around. But then I thought they won't let me do that. I've just got to send it. I've just got to go. So at that point I've just given her the biggest clutch of my life into turn 1, a little bit wide, transition, and I'm just on a heater. I'm reading this track like it's braille. I'm hitting these bumps, muscle memory's working to a T, bounce off the touch and go, And now I'm coming, the wall goes sort of this way, I'm facing this way, and all I can see is my bonnet. And I'm just hooking, full transition. From outside the bonnet, I just see the start of the wall appear, and I'm like, all right, we're here, boys. Lay the big toe on the big throttle, off we go, around the corner. And I've come out and I've thought to myself, I'm like, I'm already probably going to score a 0 in this run. So I may as well spice her right up and I'll close this bloody bonnet. So I'm coming out of the last corner, I've hooked her in real tight and just tipped her into a big bottle top. Bonnet's come crashing down, straightened her out. Bloody big old, how you going, boys? Cruised on into pits like it was nothing else. Ended up scoring an extra 1.5 on that run, which for me, I felt my scores were a little bit low, but to be able to do a run standard and then the exact same run and get a point difference is pretty consistent. So I was stoked, absolutely stoked. But that's practice, that's qualifying. Hit us up in the next vid if you want to know what happened in the battles.